matching outfits. I got Osborne, and you got Carhartt, and Osborne. If anybody wants to see that, because Welders finished first. Osborne makes some phenomenal. They got the tough brush, made in America. Yeah, yeah. So hey, sounds like we're back here with everybody here on Instagram. We've got welds. If you following us here, you want us to check out your welds, tell you what we think you're doing wrong. Um, if you win this, session of Rate My Weld, hey, we're gonna send you a hat, maybe some sunglasses or something. So you betcha. All right. Looks like we got Bryn Weld says stay in weld area is key. Flux burn off is critical for not having this, and work site arc length is I. Yep, you're right. All right. So sending likes to the host. Hey man, I like you too. I appreciate that. They're typical weld chain.
See another one there says, make sure you speed up when the puddle gets hot. Well, it says the pipe gets hot. So that's kind of brings me to something else. Like when the pipe gets hot, your puddle's going to get hotter, of course, too. But there is a certain temperature you have to stop welding at. A lot of procedures require you once you get your inner pass temperature, which that's you hear inner pass. It's actually the pipe itself. I mean, you don't want to get the root pass and everything. Most of them are over 600 degrees, because then it's like starts baking that carbon out, like you said.
Well,
Or your nickel if
nickel
you're
and your
doing stainless.
Yep.
But a lot of procedures tell you to stop it. You do not. You have a window you can weld in. Like, I mean, you might not be able to weld on until it's 150 degrees. You got to preheat it, but
Yep.
you can't get over your 600 degrees.
Yep. That's exactly.
Just some info out there for some of you younger guys.
Yep.
If that thing's glowing, it's probably too hot.
Inner pass temperature way too hot. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no, Nathan's absolutely right. So the preheat, you got to heat it up. Most of your welding procedure is going to have a preheat minimum and a maximum, and they call it, your preheat temperature, and then your inner pass temperature is how hot the material is during the weld. And I've never seen one over 600.
No.
I've never seen one that was over 600 degrees. Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever seen a welding procedure less than 100 degrees.
No. Yeah. Well, I've seen a few that were they 50-degree minimum, like. But
Lower carbon steel or something.
yeah. What's that picture there with that gap?
What we got
What is
there?
that?
This is from
Check that out.
Devonte Acuna's. Oh yeah, this is the boy that crawled up there. Yeah, this boy's my hero, old Devonte. He said,
Oh, that
"Is there
ain't
any
a
way to
gap.
play
He's
that?
tied
Is
off
there any way
there.
to play that? I would love. This is some true blue redneckery right here. I wish, if you can't see my screen, I wish you could.
They must not have OSHA up there in Cal.
He's got a toe strap. He's tied off to. He's trying to do the right thing. That is some redneck operation right there. I almost wonder if, yeah, I can already see the safety meeting. He says.
That's for sure.
He is up there getting it done. He said, last week he was on the Rate My Weld live stream. He said there's a little porosity in the weld because the wind was blowing me around. I was having a hard time being steady, and so we're just like, what were you doing, boy?
Now we know.
Now we know. Now we know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure OSHA was not involved with that one.
That the weld he made up there?
That's the weld he made up there.
Man, that one's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost missed that. Well, did miss the restart there.
Yep.
But
so, yeah. Devonte, when you're lighting up a new rod, you need to drag back just a little bit further than what you think. That was one of how I had to learn that was just a little bit further than what your gut tells you or what you think you need to come back to. And so when you light up, you put your porosity right where you start. You drag back right a little bit more than what you think you need to start, and then take off, start welding, and then you won't be able to see where those starts and stops are.
How I usually try to explain that to the students trying to learn how to do that is, obviously you fire up, you drag it back. When the back of your flux of your rod hits that first ripple, that's when you take off and go forward. It usually ends it just right. But.
Okay, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It took a while to try to figure out how to explain that, but it seems to work pretty good if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this guy, he's my hero. The weld and my safety harness. I don't know. I'm pretty sure somebody slapped your pee-pee for that one if they would have caught on to that.
Do you still have a job?
Yeah. That made my day. That's funny. All right, at Sean coming to us on Instagram, and for everybody that just joined, if you're on TikTok, go over and check us out on Instagram. Make sure you send us your welds on Instagram, DM to us at Western Welding Academy. We do this Rate My Weld system session live stream every Tuesday night, so we're here for you. We talk about welding, we answer some questions, and generally just have us a good time. So, all right, looks like who is this?
You got somebody just learning how to run some beads.
Yeah, okay, at Sean on Instagram. Looks like yeah, there's I don't know, that's MIG hardwire. Um, I mean, you know, you see that grading behind him. He's just now learning how to run some MIG beads in high school, I'd say.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Well, there's some there in there that are better than others. Those crooked ones, definitely try to keep them straight. Looks like you were doing that on a few of them. Got that figured out. Just watch that travel speed. Make sure you're not trying to move too fast. A lot of them, it looks like you're moving a little too fast. Just make sure you're keeping it nice, steady, and watch the back of that puddle. Make sure it's staying the same size and the same width throughout that whole weld.
Yeah.
Another thing I say is utilize all that plate there. I know you're practicing, you want to see what you're doing, but try to stack them a little closer so you can utilize that whole plate and get more practice in on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other thing too, to keep them straight, like what Nate said, is I like to go on the edge of the plate and give me something real nice and straight to follow. If you put the first one on straight, the second one, you know, you use the first bead as a guide, and the second one will go on straight. And beads on plate is the foundation.
It is
to learn how to weld. Yeah, good, clean, straight beads on plate, and it's not easy. Welding pipe is easy when you get to learn how to do a really good, clean, straight bead on plate. So that's good.
That is the hardest. That was what I struggled with the most trying to learn how to weld, was just trying to keep something straight.
Yeah, yeah. It just gets wired into you after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you giving them, Nate?
Oh, I mean, just learning. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but it looks like you're just on the beads on plate, figuring it out. I have to give you a 7. I mean, doing pretty good for just learning. Just keep it up, and then the next step I'd say is try to make a little bit longer weld. That's going to make you better in the end.
Yeah.
Try to get longer, and work on getting comfortable so you can make a longer weld.
Right, absolutely. Because that body, the ergonomics of it, of getting all the way through, there's just a lot that you learn from the physical side of things of how to hold steady and go all the way through. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you're set up to do your dry run. Make sure you can get as far as you want to.
Yep. Yeah. Well, good job, buddy.
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah. Ask him, if you don't mind, ask him how long he's been welding too. Good job, definitely. I'd say in high school. So that's what's so powerful, is always seeing a lot of these pictures come in from high school, and just the passion that's out there for the welding industry. I think the welding industry is in good hands if you guys keep this up. So,
yeah. No, I was thinking on the way up here to do this live. I was almost wanted to say hats off to a lot of them high school instructors there. They've been stepping it up, doing a good job.
Yes.
Teaching these guys the basics of learning how to weld.
Yes. Especially Andy Stevens, Greene County, Ohio. I want to give a big shout out to Andy Stevens, and Casey Lewis, Worland, Wyoming.
Oh,
that guy.
Them guys.
Yeah.
Them kids can weld.
Yes. We love our Worland, Wyoming boys. So, all right. So, what are we giving Devontae for this forklift weld? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a plus. I think it's a plus point for, that safety harness video. I'm just saying, I wish I'd loved to been a fly on the wall at the safety meeting when, when they called out that situation right there. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
What are you giving him? What are you giving him, Nate?
I'm gonna say that missed tie-in. I'm gonna give him an 8 for that. It
Yeah.
looks pretty good. I mean,
Weld looks good. He just missed the tie-in.
yeah,
right?
Weld is beautiful.
Yeah.
Just missed that tie-in.
Good job, Devontae Acuna. My hat's off, literally. All right. He says I'm 17 doing this stuff for my dad. That's
Awesome.
why the safety. Okay. Hard to get fired at safety meeting when it's for your pappy.
Yep.
Yeah. Dresden Hansa.
What's Dresden got?
Dresden Hansa. Dresden's doing some
All
welding
kinds
on the
of welds.
farm. Look, yeah, he's got a bunch of welds. I wonder which one he wants us to look at. Find the worst one. That's one I always do. Worst weld. When we rate that one.
All right, welding on some braces,
Oh yeah.
stiffeners or something. Looks like.
Yeah. Maybe something on the farm even. Got some old red paint. One thing I want to make sure we let our audience know is, I was taught this at a young age. My very first job. This old man come up and he said, son, let me tell you something. Red is lead, and lead, you're dead. And I said, what do you mean? He said, if there's red paint, there's a high chance that red paint is lead paint, and lead paint, when you weld on lead paint or near, that those lead fumes will come up, and that will put you in a 9-line bind. So red is dead, lead, you're dead, right?
That's good info.
Now,
I never heard of it that way, but makes sense.
That doesn't mean red spray paint coming out of a can is lead-based paint, because I quit using lead-based paint like back in the 60s or 70s. But if you're on this old red, faded red paint, just remember that.
Yeah.
Red is lead, and lead, you're dead. It's a good way to remember it. So be really careful. Anything old, faded red paint could be lead paint.
Oh.
All right, let's look at one of his other welds. Because he did a little loopty right there. And
Yeah, I don't know if there's a crack there or
yeah, I kind of feel like we should look at one of his other welds. Maybe we'll pull that round one up.
Oh, yeah.
What's he
I
got
like
on that
round
little round?
stuff.
Yeah, I like round. Yeah, I like round stuff too. That ain't bad.
Oh.
He's smooth. Look at that.
See a little bit. It looks like a little slag hanging there on the top. Might be smoke. I don't know. It looks like some slag hanging in there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need to clean that out of there. And more than likely, if there's slag there, there's undercut.
Could be.
Probably
for
need
sure.
to run another pass on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the welds that are there look pretty dang nice. Though.
Yeah, the placement of them, the overlap is real consistent. Looks like he went a little bit too fast over there on the right side when he was kind of rounding that corner. And he got all excited, seen the finish line coming, put his foot on the gas a little bit.
Trying to make that weld stretch out and finish her up.
Yeah, getting his, yeah.
I mean, it
Gravel
could have
out of
been
that rod.
depending on the position too. Could have been in a bad position.
Yep, yeah, it might have been on top of the forklift with the wind blowing, tied off with an old hitching strap or something, could have happened. Could have happened. Yeah. All right, so we giving him the let's rate the round one, because Nate Ponder is down with round right there. Okay, what are you giving him, Nate?
Well, with the slag there, I mean the weld's pretty nice, sped up here, but they're all in all they're pretty good. But that's really knocks it down for me. I might have to give you about a 6 on that one. I mean, beautiful welds, but it's all in that cleanup and your final work.
Yep.
Don't matter what it's on. Always try to lay down your best and do your best.
Yep. Good bead placement. Wipe smoke off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, make it so we can see it. If you don't give them inspectors anything to look at, they have nothing to gripe about.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Tyler's sideburns are looking slick. Evan Urbina. I'm just trying to keep up with Nate Ponder, the Pondermatic, right there, huh?
Must be some good lighting over there together.
I need to get another haircut here. All right, this guy says, what is the tuition a month or 6 month? So, great question. Hyper_motive comes to us on TikTok. Best thing I can tell you is go to our website. All the courses, all the pricing, everything is on there. Go to applytoweld.com and look at the courses page. We've broke those courses down to whatever fits best for you. if you take welder 1 or welder 5, there's no pretest. Now, if you take welders 2, 3, or 4, you got to pass pretest to get into those. So, yeah, go to applytoweld.com and check that out. That's the best way I could tell you, so you can see what's best for you and you can see what your pricing is going to look like. What we got there? Justin Luttrell. You think he's related to Marcus Luttrell?
I
Huh?
don't know.
That's my favorite Navy SEAL, Marcus Luttrell. Welding on some stainless. He's got it all taped up there, purging that, obviously.
Oh, I was thinking maybe that was a note to the X-ray guy saying, "Hey, please pass this."
Yeah, please pass this with a $100 bill. I've seen that happen before, huh?
West Ridge High.
West Ridge High. This boy's in high school.
That's high school, Will?
That's impressive.
That's really impressive.
You got a good high school teacher. He's teaching you right. You're taping that up with masking tape. Hold that backing gas in there. For everybody that doesn't know, stainless steel pipe. You know, you don't have to, because there is some other solutions out there. There is some coated rod and there is stuff called solar flux. But generally speaking, as a whole, you got to fill the whole entire pipe up with argon gas to keep all the oxygen out of it. They make a little oxygen sensor that you can thread on your purge point, and it senses how much oxygen is bleeding out. And when it gets down to below a certain point, 0.07 was the number that I was always looking for when I was welding.
Yeah, I always try to get down below 5, because if 5 to 7 it was gray. I mean, it would work. It would shoot X-ray. It was gray, but
0.05 was yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that or lower. I mean, point 0, of course, if you can. But
yeah, 0. Yeah. But that's cool that this guy's in high school. I'd be really curious to know where this high school is. Maybe we'll have to go there on our next blue collar tour.
Yeah,
check out this guy.
I'd like to see that route too, or if he has any pictures of that route, he can send us.
Ask him if he can DM us some pictures of the route pass. One of the other things too, when you're one of the things I would tell you too, anybody that's welding stainless steel, you tape this thing all up and you start purging it. One of the tricks that I actually learned early on was to tape a clear lens. Tape it in the pipe, so you can always take your flashlight and shine in that clear lens, look inside the pipe and see what's taking place on that root pass. Just a little trick. You don't have to peel the tape back and be surprised. Now you can peel it back and look down through the joint, obviously, but yeah, that was one of the little tricks that I learned early on.
If you really want to see the whole picture, you find you an old clear lens off a face shield too. I get the whole big picture. You just take that sucker around there.
Yeah,
you can see everything in there.
That's a good trick. See, that's why we do this. I learn stuff every single time we do a live, especially when Nathan Ponder's in the house. So I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but tape a whole clear face shield clear lens over the end of the pipe, and then you don't have to be peeking through. I always tape one of those little 2x4 lenses because that's what the contractors give. But all right, what are you giving him, Nate? This boy's in high school. He's purging it, stainless steel. I'm going to say that's probably 8-inch. Looks like Schedule 10. He's walking the cup. If we can zoom in on that. That was from, what did he say? West Ridge High. And he shined it. He cleaned it all up. Look at that.
This is really good.
Yeah. A couple things I noticed here. I've welded a lot of stainless. Throughout your weld, there's these little tiny specks. Little tiny, black specks, and what that comes from is not having a gas lens when you're purging your stainless, which doesn't surprise me a bit because you're in high school, and so you probably don't even have a gas lens available to you. But when you weld stainless, get a gas lens, a big jumbo cup, best gas coverage you can get. That will keep those little tiny particulates out of your puddle from floating around. It'll keep it a little bit cleaner. It'll give you a better color. It's all about gas coverage with stainless, inside and out. But dude, you're in high school. This is incredible. So that's a little tip for you when next weld you make on that stainless. All right. What are you giving him?
Ooh, that's a solid 9er there.
Yeah, I think so. This boy's killing it. He's in high school. Yeah, good job, Justin Luttrell. Hopefully you're related to Marcus Luttrell. All right, we got a bunch more here.
Little comment over there. You guys need to come back to Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Louisiana, I like that. It was cool. That was fun.
That was cool. Rain, cats, and dogs.
Oh, man. That was awesome.
But we were able to get in there and eat some dynamite crawfish. Because when we come out, we went up into Mississippi, stopped at this little crawfish place. Yeah, I don't know. That's the best part I like about Louisiana. They've hands down, they've got some of the best food in the world there. So maybe next year we'll be coming back to Louisiana on the blue collar tour. For everybody that's out here and doesn't know, we do a blue collar tour. We do this in the very end of winter, and we travel. This year we went 8 weeks. Was it
5 weeks?
5 weeks?
5 weeks and
I'm way
19
out.
stops.
Yeah, yeah. We 5 weeks. We had 8 on the schedule. That's what it was. Yeah, went to for 5 weeks, 28 states, 15,000 miles. We welded with over 2,000 high school students. So, dude, it was awesome.
It was a blast.
It was a blast. Yeah, got to see. Kind of felt like we were back out in the field on the open road. You know, running and gunning and. But yeah, I had a great time. Really had an awesome time. So we'll come back to Louisiana for sure next year. All right, so we've got Wyatt Duncan aluminum weld, huh? Quarter inch, and he says 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch box tube. Oh yeah, look at that.
Nice
Dabbing aluminum weld.
Yeah, a little dab action there.
Uh-huh.
Pretty consistent.
Uh-huh.
Nice. That's looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Wyatt Duncan did a great job. And I don't claim to be much of an aluminum welder myself. I mean, I've done some. We were up in Alaska on the North Slope, and we had some pipe supports that we had to weld to an aluminum base. But my hat's off, literally, to anybody that can weld aluminum that slick. I think that looks great. I think one of the things with aluminum, you want to just pull your arc down. That's about the only thing I'm really knowledgeable as far as aluminum is. You want to really pull your arc down slow. Otherwise, they call it crater cracking when you leave a crater there. But by pulling that arc down slow, right, usually you have a foot pedal to keep it down. Dry that puddle up and don't leave a crater crack. But I can do it, but I'm not the expert, for sure. So, all right, Nate, what you giving him? Wyatt Duncan, slicked one on there.
Yeah, like I said, that end crater there kind of knocks it down a little bit, but the weld itself, man, that's tough one. Just because the crater, I'd give her 8.5.
8.5. Good job, Wyatt Duncan. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Keep slicking it out there. I got a lot of respect for somebody who can mash out a nice aluminum weld.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on there. I mean, you got either you're working the heat with your thumb control, or you're running a foot pedal.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to keep, because aluminum disperses that heat so fast, gets hot so quick. You gotta turn your heat down so much as you weld it. Like it takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, and it's got to be clean. It's kind of like stainless in the same regard as it's got to be really clean and pretty.
Yeah. One thing to do is when you do brush it, make sure you're using a stainless brush. Don't grab a carbon.
Yeah, you'll have a bad day. You grab a carbon steel brush on aluminum. Yeah. All right, what we got? 6010 corner from Carl Mendez the third. This guy's royalty.
Man.
The third. I wonder if he knows I'm a lord. So a great friend of mine actually bought me a little strip of land in Scotland and showed up one day with a plaque. It said my name on it. Lord Tyler Sassy. Had this little deed on there, proof of my land. So therefore, I hung it outside my office wall as a joke. Everybody laughs and they see it. But this guy, he's definitely royalty. He's Carl Mendez the third. 6010 corner. Rate My Weld. What do you say, Nate?
Well, let's see some more arc strikes going across that plate there a little bit. Some splatter. Well, it looks pretty good though. Pretty big crater at the end there, but really small weld.
How do you fix that crater at the end?
That crater?
Yeah. How do you fix that crater?
So on that, you got to tail out of that a little bit. Like you're saying, you guys start stepping a little bit quicker and shrink that puddle. Like you said, dry that puddle up, and then you can whip out of that sucker and let it cool down. Do not pull out of it when it's a great big hot puddle. You're just gonna leave a big crater there every time.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too that I do is sometimes I'll just exactly what Nate's saying. kind of skip out, and then I'll actually pull back into the weld and kind of wick out that way, especially on the end of a corner like that where you're there's just nowhere to go for the heat. So I'll kind of I'll start doing quick steps, drying it up just like Nate said, and then I'll pull back with my back into the weld and
Not
kind of
just
dry
saying
it up
that.
that way.
I do that a lot on like fillet welds and stuff. And like on the start there too, you see a little bit of a divot there, kind of where it burn out on you. I'll kind of fire up like quarter inch in. I'll bring that rod back and I'll bring that puddle back and let it sit there and I'll let it build up and work its way out the side and fill it up. So there's never a divot. If there's anything, it's a little heavy and I can take a grinder and I can smooth that out. So it's completely full.
That's an excellent explanation. Yeah. Isn't it funny how there's so many things that you do at different times, and like you don't realize how you do it until you hear somebody else talking about it. You're like, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, what we giving him? Rate My Weld is Carl Mendez the third. He is royalty. Probably ought to take a hat home. No. Nate's saying no.
Give her a 7.
7. Carl Mendez the third. Good job, buddy. Good job. All right, what we got? We got another one here.
Ooh.
What does he say? Matt Belfield. He says, my name is Matt. I'm just a junior in high school. Show that weld.
There's no way them are your welds, Matt.
Yes. He was on Dad's yacht over the weekend. Knew Rate My Weld was coming up. Pulled his phone out. I've never seen anybody in high school that has just this flawless. Do a Google search on that. Image search that. I promise you that's probably on the internet somewhere. If not, my hat's off, literally. But unfortunately, Google search says otherwise. But I do hey, I got to give it to a man for the hustle, right? Like, he's like, man, I'm all about that hat. Like, I'm going to. Sorry, Matt Belfield. But we did a quick little Google search on that jobby, and that sucker is all over the internet, right? That thing's like Donald Trump. That thing's all over the internet. I'm a junior in high school. I can't do it. No score. Send him.
If you are, and that's your weld, comes this.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I got just a little bit of respect for a man that's got that hustle. But listen, here's my best advice. Go back into high school and make an actual weld and send it to me next week's Rate My Weld, and I'm going to remember this name because I remember that forklift boy. Matt Belfield, I'll be looking for it. Send us a real weld. All right. Snow Savage. I wonder if this guy likes snowmobiling. Snow Savage. Snow Savage. Say
like
that 17 times 30 feet. Yeah.
Wonder where he's from.
Yeah.
First vertical weld.
7018,
I think, or 7016.
Can you please rate my weld? Well, Nate, first observation I would make is he's going downhill.
Yep. If that plate is in a position it was welded, 100%.
And if it's 7018, I wonder if we could zoom in on a little bit on that. So what I would say, a couple things right away. Snow Savage, I love that Instagram handle, by the way. A couple things that I would say to just fire this conversation off properly. If you're welding with 7018, you need to be going uphill, okay? It's definitely a little bit harder, but it's going to work out a lot better for you in the end. If you're going vertical with 7018, you need to be going uphill. Second observation, if you're new to Rate My Weld, which you are because this is the first vertical weld you ever made, and probably the first one you've ever sent to us, make sure you take a wire wheel or a hand brush or a slag hammer or a file or something and clean the slag off that thing before you send it to us, all right? What do you say? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Get rid of that splatter. We'll knock that off there and make that weld nice and clean. Yeah.
It's a pretty nice looking downhill 7018 weld, though. Like, even though it's, totally against everything we know as far as welding, but I mean, it's pretty. I've tried to weld 7018 downhill a few times on some hangers when nobody was looking.
They actually do make it downhill 7018.
They do. But this boy's in high school. I guarantee you he's not welding with that one, huh? Yeah or no?
No.
Because I've welded with that downhill 7018. Yeah.
What are you going to give out?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell. The slag covers it up. I don't know. I'd give him a 6.
6? I'd say it's fair.
Yeah, 6. Clean the slag off. Wire wheel that thing really nice. Wipe the smoke off. Keep at it, Snow Savage. I love the Instagram name, by the way. Strong 6. Come back to us next week on Rate My Weld with Western Welding Academy. Nathan Ponder here in the house. Okay, if you're just joining us, make sure you go check us out on Instagram. DM us your welds at Western Welding Academy. And what else we got in the pot there? All right. We already did that boy there. What we got? Matthew Spencer. Looks like he's welding on a bucket.
Welding some teeth on.
Oh, yeah. You know, you can actually make a lot of money welding on equipment.
Oh, yeah. Then making some repairs or laying some pads.
Yeah.
Do a little hard servicing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that needed.
Because you gotta have a welding truck to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's just not a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys out there with welding trucks, but there's not a lot of guys out there with welding trucks that'll weld on buckets. So you got to fill a void, right? You know, so fill the void. And there's a lot of money to be made welding on buckets and stuff like that, especially when you're just first getting going. But dude, this is pretty slick.
Yeah, there's some slick welds. Zoom in there a little bit at the very beginning of that. Well, I want to check that start up there. Well, maybe it's a finish. All right.
Mm-hmm.
A little hole there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe should have wrapped that, you'd say?
Yeah, unless it's...
He's MIGing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
dual shield. Gotta
dual
be.
shield there.
Oh, yeah. See the
there's the gun.
See the MIG gun down laying on the ground.
The big old chunks of slag.
Yeah. But it's clean.
It is
clean.
very clean.
And it's straight. That's the best thing I like about this Rate My Weld. Really. Literally. And I talked about this last week, but you know, it's all about that leading the blue collar revolution, right? And if we can revolution the welding industry and just the simple fact that people take a little bit more pride in their work and clean their welds and make them straight, doesn't that feel like it's worth it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it does.
Yeah. It's all about that impact. He's got a bunch of pictures of these teeth he's welded on here. I don't know, dude. This boy's a craftsman. I can see some soapstone marks where he's laid things out and made sure they were straight, and you know, he's got a tape measure and knows how to lay things out, and he's putting nice welds on. I bet that contractor's proud of that work that you're doing there.
Oh, yeah.
What are we giving him, Mr. Nathan Ponder?
Those are pretty slick welds. It's right up there. Man, let's say that's a 9er.
9er. Good job, Matthew Spencer. Great work. Great work. All right. Well, what we got? What state are you based in? Coming to us from Piebird 058. I don't know. Piebirds. What state are you based in? Well, we're right here in Gillette, Wyoming. Best state in America. It's the Freedom Cowboy State. Yes, sir. Dylan Smith. Mr. Dylan Smith. He says, well, casing 7018. Casey, can you pull that up and we'll check that out? What is that, like a socket weld? Nate, what do you say?
Yeah, looks like a little socket weld there.
Looks like he's racing it a little bit,
Yeah,
going just
it
a little
does.
bit too fast, huh?
You see how them corners are kind of choppy there?
Mhm.
Slow down a little bit, let it round them corners. That'd been a slick weld. I mean, not bad looking weld, but I'm always trying to, when I'm doing socket welds, I'm making sure I'm catching them edges.
You can tell it looks like he's either going way too slow or he's weaving a little bit, right? And I don't know. The best thing I like to do is I like to, on a big socket weld like that, I like to run a one quick one. I like to run a quick little 60-10, what they call like a pisser pass, just kind of cleans the metal up. Then I hang one low, and then I stack one on top of the other, especially in that horizontal position, just like that. One, little 60-10 pisser pass, and then one low, and then one high. That's how I do my big socket welds like that. Yeah. All right. Well, what are we giving him?
Put a caught them edges more, that would have been a pretty slick weld there. We'll say that's another 7.
7. Slow her down just a little bit, Dylan
Yeah.
Smith. It was a weave, he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Try that. If you were here and you were listening, try that on the next one you do tomorrow. And hey, dude, take a picture of it. Send it to us on next week's Rate My Weld. I love seeing the progress that people
Yeah,
make.
I don't know how thick or actually big that is, but if it is a pretty thin wall pipe or something, you can cover it in one pass. Looks like you probably could.
It does look like
I know
that, too.
you say lay 2 passes. Depends on the thickness. If it's a lot thicker, for sure. But if it's real thin, if you're just sealing up a coupler or something, yeah, if you just slow that down, and put that one pass on there, it'll be slick.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I'm assuming he's using 332, but if he was to slow down with 1/8 inch 7018, just like you say, let it fill. Don't be weaving it. Just let it fill behind you. Yeah, yeah, it'd have been slick. All right, what we got? Adrian with the cowboy hat emoji on the end. At Adrian cowboy hat emoji. Looks like we've got a V groove with a backer. But does not look like Adrian's pitcher's gonna.
Oh, got some spent straps there.
Oh, look at that! Looks like he's might have passed his first one. So Dylan Smith is trying to call on Instagram video, but we'll have to get to you after this. Wonder if we know Mr. Dylan Smith. All right, back to what we're doing here. Rate My Weld V Groove. Adrian with the cowboy hat emoji. Hey, good job, Adrian. Looks like he's got some straps. Those are clean looking straps.
Yeah, let's zoom in on those. Let's look
Let's
at
check
those
that out. Everybody, little video action, huh? Good job, dude.
Those are clean.
Looking clean. Looks like he just passed his first structural, huh?
Yeah.
Remember that day, Nathan?
Oh yeah. That was a very, very nervous day.
Were you? Proud when you made it through. Did you pass? First welding test you ever took, did you pass it?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no,
I passed mine. Just barely by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah. I didn't bust any when I went to weld school. I took my time and I didn't want to fail, so that was always my strength and weakness at the same time.
Yeah.
But
have you ever busted one in the field?
Oh yeah.
Really?
For sure.
Care to share?
Which one?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
but doesn't failure make you stronger?
Yes, it does. It really opens your eyes because I don't know, but like that one that failed, like I actually knew what was in that weld.
You knew it was there.
Yeah, like every pass I put in, it's like I freaking recorded every weld in my head almost. When they X-rayed, I'd be like, "Oh man, that one I had a little issue here, there with it. Hope it's all right."
Yeah.
But one of the I'm trying to think of my very first one I actually busted. It's been a while.
Weld test or X-ray?
X-ray.
Yeah.
Or you want to go weld test here?
I was thinking weld test, but
Oh.
yeah, if you got a good story to share with some of our audience that maybe haven't, maybe they're just getting through their first welding test, or maybe they're just getting through their first X-ray, or
So, my first one was. She does know that one too. Actually, I went down and tested in Colorado.
Oh man, that's where I busted weld test in Colorado too.
We went in, went to work for this company. It was 2 tests. It was all right. I mean, it was a 2-inch and a 6-inch. I mean, standard over 610, 70, 18. On the 6G, 2-inch double X, and then a 6-inch standard ball. They said, all right, pass these, you'll get hired on. So, okay. Passed the test. Got hired on with the company. Then they hit me with the CWI, the QC from the plant that they were actually going to work in.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to come and test us again. We had to get certified to go in the plant, and had no idea. But this guy walked in, and it was for Sinclair in Rawlins, Wyoming.
Oh, what do they call that guy?
Look him out, Dan.
Look him out, Dan.
Oh,
yeah, I've heard of him.
He lived up to his name.
He did. Yeah.
But there was 10 of us in there to test that day. There's a rig welder. I mean, I was single-handed time. I was pretty young still.
Yep.
Just still getting everything figured out.
Yep.
And this rig welder walked in and he seen who was testing, and he's like, I ain't even waste my time.
Really?
I'm like, what? Really? What's going on here? He just turned around, got in his truck, and left. So I was like, oh, I'm taking this test.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So we did the 6-inch first, the stick.
Yeah.
And put a 60-10 root in there, and I kind of messed my fit up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's number one is make dang sure your fit's right. But
Yep.
I got a little tight on the bottom quarter there, and when I went to put it in, it went right at flush on.
Okay. Yep.
And I put the root in there. He come in, looked at it, he goes, all right, reach in there with the grinder and brush that root off. That's the first time I ever had to do that.
Yep. Yep.
So I did that, and I had a little undercut down there where I was close to flush, and
Yep.
he caught me on that. So.
He just said, "Hey, did he when he let you hop pass it?"
Nope, that was over.
That was it.
All right, go see what you can do for TIG. So
That's really
put a TIG up there.
Yeah.
Did TIG, and I had same thing. I had one more spot that was, I mean, it was all in there.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't quite a wedding band. I mean, it would pass X-ray all day long.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice, smooth, all my edges tied in, no miss tie-ins. But it was one spot was a little lower than the rest of it, and he's like, "Nope, that ain't gonna be good enough."
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he busted me out. But, I mean, he did tell us he wanted perfect. So.
Yeah. He said that at the beginning.
He
He's
said he
wanted
wanted
perfect.
But
Look 'em out,
what
Dan.
really got me was I rolled up my stuff. I'm sitting there. One of my buddies was testing too,
Yeah.
waiting on him. And,
Yep.
I standing there, leaning against the 4-pack of welders just sitting outside the doors, and he goes, "Yeah, that looked pretty good. Just wasn't good enough." I'm like, "You sucker!" So that was one of my busted weld test stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Chapped you. Oh, you come out, especially to come out later and be like, "Yeah,
Yeah, hit
that's
you
pretty
with that
good.
after he
That's
busted
pretty
you out.
good. Just not good enough." Yeah. Yeah. No, I busted one in Alabama, and man, it was hard on my, just like, I got so much like head trash, like, man, I'm a no welding some buck, like, you get, and it was really hard pipe. It was X70, and it was 36-inch, and the guy on the other side of the pipe was he was having some problems, and we preheated it, and that really hard pipe, you got to preheat that stuff.
X70's
Yeah,
pretty tough.
it is. And we preheated it, and I put my bead in, and spot on. Bead was, inspector looked at it, and the guy across the pipe, he was really struggling, and that inspector, he had marked out 4 or 5 spots he wanted him to see if he could fix. A good inspector a lot of times will let you make a repair on that welding test, because it's all about what you can do in that test booth, right? Because you're a ball of nerves, and yeah, so he was fixing, and that pipe is just getting cooler and cooler and cooler, and I was trying to be considerate, you know what I mean, to the guy across the pipe, and I'm like kind of freaking out a little bit, like, we can't, that X70, you can't let it cool down. When you heat it up, you go to welding on it, you got to just stay on that all the way through, and I let it get too cold, and it was against my better judgment. I mean, I knew better, and I kind of had the helper, like, trying to put the weed burner on it, to heat it, and, like, you're trying to be nice and not burn the guy on the other side of the pipe, but I'm trying to keep my side hot, and he's grinding and welding, and oh man. And so we heat that thing up again, and we go to hot passing it, and what happens is and it's happened before, but it had been so long since I welded on that hard pipe, but the metal's not hot enough, and so it doesn't wet into the sides when you're hot passing.
You really got to soak that sucker.
Yeah, and turn it up, and I, how you get welding and you just kind of start daydreaming, like you're thinking about this or that, and that's what I was doing, and I was welding along, just hot passing, and I caught it, like it started rolling where it wasn't wetting in, but I caught it too late, and because I was just kind of daydreaming, I didn't, and then so I'm raking along, and I'm like, oh hey, turn me up 10, and I even thought, like, I wonder if I should grind that spot out and re-hot pass it. But how anytime you grind a hot pass out, you run the risk of blowing through on the root pass. And so I'm like, it's going to be fine, And dude, let me tell you what, I mean, I painted one on there. It was a 3 bead cap, 36-inch, big pipe, heavy wall. And it was one of the proudest 3-bead caps it was flawless. And everybody in that testing yard was looking at it like, it kind of, how you watch a welder come over and look at your weld. He's like, act like he's not looking, but he's kind of looking. You know what I mean? I seen about 4 guys come in there and do that. The little sideways look, and I'm like, I got this one. I painted one on there. It was just pretty. And we cut like, I don't remember, like 16 or 20 straps. I mean, dang near the whole half of that 36 inches cut into straps, and there's neck breaks in there, and there's root bands and face bands and tensils, and anyways, I get all the way through it. Nicks, everything is clean, and I'm rolling my leads up, right, and I'm watching them. They put the last strap in the bender, and I've already calculated how much money I'm gonna make every week on this job. I mean, I got this thing in the bag, and that last strap pukes open, slag in it. And dude, I drove like 2 days straight getting there. You know what I mean? And oh man, my heart just like sunk, and I'm like, whoa man, I'm a no welding scumbag, just like, yeah. So on to the next job. Of course, I made the next test. I was real nervous, shaking like crazy, worried, just like, man, if I can weld anymore, and of course you can. You learn from your failure, you know what I mean? You learn from those little mistakes, and what I really should have done is just ask my welding partner, like, hey man, like, if you don't mind, just step off that thing for just a little bit. Let me pour some heat to it. I should have done that every couple of minutes just to keep that X70 hot, and so it was a great learning experience for me though. Yeah.
You weld like this guy, you ain't gonna have to worry about that.
Right. And those clean straps he's got there. So I would be willing to bet that those straps are from this very first this weld right here, that he probably documented this all the way through the process, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like it. Yeah, he shows us the weld, and he shows us the clean straps. Probably his first one. So good job, Adrian, dude. You slicked that 7018 in there, V-groove with a backer. That's a real common structural steel weld. Did a nice job. Any comments, Nate? Pop into that weld one more time.
Just make sure that sucker's clean. Looks like it's still covered a little bit in smoke. It's really hard to read there exactly, guys. Oh, yeah, quite a bit of splatter on there. That don't look like it's fully completed in that picture.
Yeah, I wonder
What's
if
the
that
next
was just
picture? Is it
halfway
completed
through.
weld in the next picture?
Is there a couple other pictures maybe? Look how straight those beads are though. And you
They
can
are
see
straight.
he's really getting his travel speed right on those runoff tabs. So anybody that's wondering, those are runoff tabs, what they call runoff tabs, that you want to start on them and end on them. So the weld in between is really clean, straight, and pure. Yeah. It doesn't look like we've got a picture of the completed weld, but that's 1 inch plate, dude. Gotta be, huh?
It's pretty thick. If I was rating them straps, though, I'd rate them straps at 10.
Yeah.
I can't. It's hard to rate a weld that ain't all the way complete. But.
Right. Yeah. Send us a picture of the completed weld. We'll rate it on next week's, Adrian. Great job, though. Congratulations. Good, clean straps.
If the cap looks like that field does, I bet it's beautiful.
Yeah. I bet you're right. All right. What do we got there? Jake Ford. Does he have a ooh, look at this.
Oh, Jake.
Might know this guy. Maybe. What is that? 3 inch? 2 inch? 4 inch? It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Old California welder there.
Yep. This boy is from Chico, California. Had the pleasure of welding a lot of pipe with this boy when he was a student. This guy has made me proud. Look at that wedding band.
Man, that's a pretty root there.
Oh, send him a message. Say, hey, where'd you learn how to put that bead in like that? Ask him. He says a little 4 inch Schedule 10.
Schedule 10. Oh, yeah.
That is beautiful.
I was wondering if it wasn't thin because I seen that fit up there on the other side of that fitting, that just stacked real tight gap.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if it wasn't Schedule 10.
Yeah. Yep. Where did he learn to weld like that? Jake Ford, congratulations. Beautiful. So maybe he wants us to rate that root pass. I want to go back to that root pass because Look how pretty that thing is.
That is nice. I mean, didn't miss a start. You see those 3 starts right there?
Yeah, but
Got
the
good
width
color
is
in
the
there.
same. The height is the same. Yeah.
Man, that's
Beautiful. Beautiful work. All the way around. He ripped around that sucker.
man.
Hey, will that thing X-ray?
all day long?
You think
They'll
that thing
all
would
shoot.
X-ray?
Now will they all pass? I don't
That
know.
thing is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That is a beautiful looking weld. That thing's perfect, Jake Ford.
Man, that almost makes us look biased if I give that thing.
I know. I kind of think that. I think Jake's disqualified because it's just too nice. We know where he learned how to do that, right? I mean, you were there. I was there. Jake was. When did Jake graduate? 2020.
Yeah, I believe it's 2020.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. Man, this guy had the work ethic of 10, man. Yeah, he
He
come
probably
in
ain't
there.
even 21 yet.
No,
Was
he
he
was
18 to come to
18
school?
when he
Yeah,
first
so-
come to school. Yeah, had great parents. Yeah, yeah, Northern California. He invited me out to go fishing with him, and I'm gonna take him up. So make sure you drop him a
Maybe we
drop,
should give him a
send
10
him a
just
DM.
for that. So he
Yeah,
takes
maybe
us.
he'll take us fishing, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna come salmon fishing with him. All right, you're disqualified, Jake. That weld's too pretty. Sorry, that's too pretty. All right, Caleb, what we got here? MIG welding. He says, rate my 3G. That's not MIG, that's TIG. It looked like MIG before you zoomed in on it. TIG 3G.
huh?
Who do you suppose taught him how to run a torch? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know if he draw any straight lines on there for that.
But the weld looks good.
Well, it looks good. Kind of like to see the other side of that thing.
Yeah. Wonder what that. No backer, so. Oh, look at that. There's a picture of that root
Oh,
pass
yeah.
there.
Let's zoom in on that guy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it looks like there's a missed
Little miss tie in
restart.
there.
Tie in.
Mm-hmm. Little miss tie in on the root pass.
Look at that nice heat zone down the side there. It's nice and even on that root.
Yeah. Ooh, good looking hot pass. Yeah, looking good. He didn't. I noticed on the final product. Does that look capped to you? It looks too low to me to be capped. I don't know if we can zoom in a little bit on that cap, but it looks like it's capped. He's got his edges. It just looks a little low. It's hard to tell because of the way they angle the camera here, but any advice you would give this boy, Nathan?
So you're tigging. I see a little bit of smoke coming off that sides. That tells me make dang sure you're cleaning that base metal up real good.
Might have bumped his tungsten even too.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Advice. That's pretty good looking weld. If I was doing that and making that weld, I would probably bump my heat up just a little bit so that thing wets on them sides a little better.
Turn it up 10. Consistency. Get them edges a little bit straighter.
Yep. Get them edges nice and straight. That first pass over on the left, that's pretty straight for about 3/4 of the way up there.
It is. He gets a little crooked there at the end. Like he's been drinking and driving or something. Yeah. Good looking weld though, huh?
Yeah, it's could be in positioning too. Might have had that plate set up a little too high and had to start struggling when he got up there. Couldn't see the top, so make sure you're getting that sucker where you can weld that whole weld.
Sometimes we see that. They put it up a little too high. Yeah. What are you giving him?
I'll give him 8.5.
8.5. Good job, Caleb. So if you're just joining the live stream here, make sure you come check us out every week. We do this. We talk about welding, share some of our experiences. We rate some welds. We answer some comments. Best place to find us is Instagram at Western Welding Academy. Make sure you follow us and DM us your welds. We'll check them out. All right. Let's do one more weld, and we'll answer a few comments, and we'll call it a wrap. So, who do we got? Bradley Leach. There's a lot going on in that
See
Instagram
what Bradley
name there.
has.
7018 flat, beads on plate. Oh yeah,
It's looking pretty good.
that is looking really good.
Nice, beautiful overlaps. The beads look good. They're not V'ing real bad. Pretty good U.
Cleaned it up pretty good. Left
Really
a few little BBs.
Yeah, a few BBs. Really straight.
Yeah. Looks like its travel speed's about right. Might could slow it down just a hair, but ain't nothing I would write home about.
No.
Yeah. Looks like he's got one more here. A little fillet weld.
That's more BBs on that
Couple
weld there,
little BBs
too.
on there. Gonna have to dock him for BBs, Nathan.
Yep. And there's one little missed bottom spot on the bottom toe of that weld there.
I see that. Let's rate his beads on plate. What are you giving him? Pretty good looking beads on plate, but got a few BBs.
Few BBs.
This week's winner? I don't know. I think that's probably the best weld we've seen yet, with the exception of Jake Ford, but he's obviously disqualified because we know where that came from. Huh? Sorry, Jake. Sorry.
Still love you, though.
Oh, yeah. We love you, Jake.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Like a 9.75. Would have totally been a 10 had he picked them BBs off.
Yeah, if you took a little extra time to clean them off, for solid 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9.75. Bradley Leach. Great job. Ask him where he's from, and if he's in high school, if he's on a job somewhere. I'd love to know a little bit more about him. Bradley Leach. Congratulations, that's awesome. Awesome work. All right. We got a comment here from official Griff Curry from TikTok. He says, "Are Canadians allowed?" All right, official Grin Curry. Official Griffin Curry.
Well, I'm not allowed to go to Canada right now, so I guess
You're
maybe
not.
you're not. No,
You didn't get your Vax card? They didn't get his Vax card. Can't go to Canada. Are Canadians allowed? We talked about them Canadians, last week. Yeah, we had a few Canadians up there. The problem with you Canadians is we just smoke you guys at hockey. Like, I don't know how else to really, if tell you what, official Griffin Curry, if your team can beat our team, we'll let you in. How about that, huh? No, so Canadians are allowed, but we don't. We obviously are pretty, leading the blue collar revolution. We want to do that here in the greatest state in America, greatest state in the world, America. So you're definitely allowed from Canada, but you got to provide your own student visa.
Yeah.
That'd be the best advice I could give you.
What was that Grimbo at 15?
Grimbo 15. He says, "This is my dream to weld and my dream college."
Well, if you're talking about Western Welding Academy, we're not a college.
Nope.
I'd hate to say it, but we're definitely far from a college.
A lot better than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're a trade school with some real world welders.
That's right. Real world training here, Grimbo 15. But I love that you have a dream, and I love that you're passionate about it, and I love that you're really highly interested. He says this is my dream college. He means Western Welding Academy. Come see us. Graduate high school, and come check us out. If you have a passion for the industry, it's hey, I don't know. I'm a little biased. I love it. Yeah, Western Welding Academy is best place in the world. So come check us out. So, oh yeah, wow.
Mississippi
Vicksburg,
boy.
Mississippi. So Bradley Leach is from Vicksburg, Mississippi. He says 15. I'm going to the 11th. Wait a minute. Vicksburg, Mississippi, 15. Are you still in school? Okay, he's 15, going to 11th grade.
That had me off there a little bit too. He's
Okay,
moving
that's
on.
right, yeah.
Must be pretty about sharp as a
Sharp
tack.
cat. Yeah, sharp cat, Bradley Leach. Congratulations. You're going to make it. Old son's going to make it. All right, he says, Tommy Huggins 1 from TikTok says, ever have 60-10 rod toenail reel? If so, how do you fix? Ever have? Oh man.
Man.
Yeah. Boy, we got Tommy Huggins 1 from TikTok. Boy, we got some stories for you. Does 60-10 ever toenail real bad? Yes, sir. All the
All the
10
time.
rods.
Yep.
All the 70-10, 80-10, they're just notorious for toenailing. What he's talking about, for anybody that's here, that's listening, that doesn't know what toenailing, it's when the arc doesn't burn straight. It wants to burn one side or the other. And you're always like twisting that thing, trying to keep that arc straight, centered with the puddle and centered on the metal. There's a couple things that you can do. One, what you do is you set the stinger down and you go and pick up that box of rod, because I guarantee it comes from Lincoln, and every now and then they have this, and you just walk calmly over to the dumpster and you just drop it, right? That's the first trick, okay? Now, granted, let's say you're in a situation where you bought that welding rod and you're just not in the business of throwing it away because you're trying to learn how to weld, and you just ain't got the financial bandwidth to be throwing welding rod away. You can call Lincoln and you can cuss them for it. Probably won't do a lot of good. The other thing that you can do is and I'm going to get some haters going to come out of the woodwork for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I've done it 1,000 times, because this issue with 60-10, 70-10, 80-10 has been a ongoing forever battle of toenailing or fingernailing.
You can dip it in water, right?
You can dip it in water, and I've done it on a welding test. You burn that first rod, and I'm like, oh man, this is bad, because it's really hard to put a nice clean root pass in with rod that fingernails. It just wants to go to one side or the other, and you're sitting there twisting and turning, trying to keep it straight, And I've done this right in the middle of the welding test. Of course, no welding inspector is going to let you put moisture on your electrode, and I'm going to have 1,000 haters going to come out and hate on me for this, but I'm going to tell you, because I'm telling you it works, and it works great. What I do is I go and grab a drink, pour a little water bottle on my glove, and I take that welding rod and I just wipe it down with water. It will burn straight if you do that. Now, I have seen guys just slosh water straight on them. I've seen them dunking them in, their water bottles. I've seen them, but moisture, basically what it does is I don't even know what it does. I just know it works. I've seen guys put WD-40 on them. That works. It just stinks when you're welding with it. You know what I mean? But a little moisture on that cellulose rod, 60-10, 70-10, 80-10, it works. And the CWIs and the metallurgists of the world, they're going to come crawling out of the woodworks. They'll be in my DMs later screaming about giving, this kind of advice because of hydrogen cracking. With where does hydrogen come from? It comes from water, H2O. And when you put hydrogen in a weld, it's bad, right? But does it work? Abso-freaking-lutely. Will it still shoot X-ray? Absolutely. Will it bend test? Absolutely. Is there somebody that's way smarter than me and got some big, long string of abbreviations behind their name going to come out and say that I'm wrong? Absolutely. But that's how you fix it. All right. Try it out and come back next week's Rate My Weld and let me know how it worked out for you. I promise you'll be impressed. Not a lot of water, just a little thin layer of moisture.
Just damp it.
Just damp it up. It will burn straight. So, Jake Ford looks like he messaged us back. He says, old son, you boys are always welcome to come hang out in my neck of the woods. Well, we're going to take you up on that, Jake, because we're going to come salmon fishing with you. So when you got that boat, when them things are running, we're going to come fishing. I want to try. I'd love to see some of your little fishing holes, and I spent a long time since I caught a salmon too. All right. Well, we got one more comment, and we're going to call it a wrap. Anything good in there? Yeah, we can rate your well, but you got sent it to us on Instagram, so we're kind of combing some of these comments here. You're my dream school. Hey, you're our dream person. If you love Western Welding Academy and you want to come, what you need to do is you need to go to applytoweld.com. You need to get your application in. You need to pay your booth hold payment, secure your booth. That's how our process works. We've got some really good student selection gals that will walk you through that process. They're phenomenal. So applytoweld.com. Come check us out every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. we do Rate My Weld, answer a few questions, and you know, share some of the things we've learned along the way. So, Nate, you got anything before we sign out?
No, don't believe so. It's just keep working on them welds and slicking them out.
Yeah.
I really have fun doing these Rate My Welds. See some really nice welds. So,
Yeah.
but.
All right, people. You know the drill. We'll see you on the next one.